Check, check, check. One, two, three. Check, check. One, two, three, four, five.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting started in 5 minutes. This is your 5-minute warning. I'm looking at you, Danny Christensen. 5 minutes. In the meantime, there are snacks, there are refreshments at the back of the room. Andrew Paris, wave your arms so everybody knows where the snacks are, right behind you there. So feel free to get some snacks and refreshments. There's coffee over to my right as well. So we'll be starting in 4 minutes. This is now your 4-minute warning. Thanks, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody here who can whistle really loud? Anybody? That's what I'm looking for right there. Was that you, Danny? You're a good man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and joining us today. What's a really exciting day. My name is Al Cameron. I'm the Director of Communication and Media Relations for Curling Canada. But today I get to add a title. I am the Director of giving out some awesome news about curling. Before we get started, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. The territory is covered by the Treaties of Peace and Friendship, which the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet people first signed with the British Crown in 1725. The treaties didn't deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Maliseet title and established the rules for what was to become an ongoing relationship between nations. We are all treaty people. We do land acknowledgments such as this one as part of the reconciliation process. This land acknowledgement will not give back the land to its original caretakers. It is symbolic in nature. It is up to us to do the real and actioned work of reconciliation. Nova Scotia is also an historic site for Black community building in Canada. African Nova Scotians are distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched Mi'kma'ki, known as Nova Scotia, for more than 400 years. So I'd like to introduce Elder Thomas Christmas from the community of Eskasoni to officially welcome us.
Can anybody whistle?
There you go.
Thank you. I don't talk out of my forehead, so. What is it, Punit after? Chalida. Asil Muksona Kiskuk. Ahmani Asil Moksi. Afladio dan Delbiti Dio. A Haimudio. Only way at the Delweed Mi'kma'ki. Afladio, Tipivani Mio. Limonino, Chelidayo, Chelida, Unduwe Gadik. Akisu Kadawe, Ignamuxino, Tantalbulotno, Kidumantado, Habicti Homiop. Kididan Kismantato, Unduwe Gadina, Marble 2. Akisuok, Evani Muxidosu, Ulotino. Akisu ka bon mola kik matan kis no gudik atan mo wolti atan kisiku waji ku ni. I welcome you to our native community we call Mi'kma'ki. I guess it would be our territory, because we haven't given it away, sold it, traded it. All we did was let people live here for a little bit. Look at us now. But I asked the Creator to help each and every one of you, to help your people that are sick, whether it's cancer, diabetes, because those two sicknesses are what's taking our people out. It's unfortunate there's no cure yet, but I'm sure there is one in the future. And I am saying a prayer for people who have cancer and people who do have it right now in this very room. And I pray for your family members that have it, that are sick, and for the old people like me. Thank you very much. Is there any special request while I'm up here?
You know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any money. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day. Take care.
Thank you, Elder. We're going to continue with the welcomes. The City of Halifax is welcoming us all with open arms, and to speak on behalf of the City of Halifax, I'd like to introduce Deputy Mayor Sam Austin.
Thank Thank you, everyone. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of Mayor Savage and everyone on Regional Council to welcome you here, and for this exciting day, big announcement to come. When you think of curling in Halifax, it's part and parcel of this place. We've got the oldest curling club here in Canada. I'm sure many people in the room know the Halifax Curling Club. So there's beyond the Halifax Club, we have a couple other in our region and around the province. And so this curling's part and parcel of this place. And there's besides curling, the other thing we do really well in this part of the world, we do hospitality really well. That's part and parcel of the East Coast too. We host events. Exactly. Thank you, Ross. We host events, and the energy that we have is right here in this room, and that's what we bring forward to these things. So without giving anything away, you won't have to hurry hard to have a good time in Halifax.
That's a good one right there. All right, we're going to get things cooking here. It is my privilege to be here today representing Curling Canada, our Board of Governors, and our staff on what is a very, very cool day for the sport of curling here in Nova Scotia. J'ai le plaisir et le privilège de représenter Curling Canada, notre conseil de gouverneurs et nos employés aujourd'hui en cette journée excitante pour le curling en Nouvelle-Écosse. So let's get going. Here's the cool thing about today. We don't just have one announcement. We don't just have two announcements. We got 3 announcements to make today. And without knowing it, you just brought me to my very next point, which was about applause. You'll know when to applaud, and this is good. There's going to be 3 distinct occasions to applaud because it's a great news announcement for sure for the entire province. So we're going to start it off. We're going to kick it off in a venue that has become very, very familiar to us at Curling Canada. It's great to be able to announce that the 2025 Canadian Mixed Doubles Trials to decide our Olympic Mixed Doubles team will be held December 30th, 2024 to January 4th, 2025 at Queen's Place Emera Centre in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. And I don't need to tell you that your New Year's Eve plans that year are locked in. Liverpool's going to throw a party. So to tell you more, I'd like to introduce our great friend, Greg Thorburn, from the Liverpool Championship Host Society.
Thank you. Al had to help me up. That's because of many years of doing toe tucking and curling. So anybody that's starting out in curling, don't toe tuck or you won't be able to walk when you get my age. It's a pleasure for us to host another event. I thank Curl Canada for having enough courage to let us try again. Each year we think of something and we try to do something different. So we started out in 2014 with the under-21s for the Nationals, then we went to the Worlds, we went to the pre-trials, and now we're doing mixed doubles trials. Anybody that doesn't know mixed doubles, get to watch it, because it's the fastest, greatest thing in curling. They seem like they start out in one end with 20 rocks in play, and they end up in the 8th end with 20 rocks in play. And there's only 16 rocks to go. We have a few things planned already, and Al alluded, one of them was a New Year's Eve party. If the schedule works out, we will be partying all night and then curling the next morning. So be there. Hugh Avery asked me to save a few minutes so he could speak. I'm trying to stall this off so you don't have to listen to him, all right? Thank you very much.
Greg, let's just say I know a guy who knows a guy that will make sure New Year's Eve is going to be a party. Let's just say that. All right, so onward with the good news. So this time, for this announcement, we're headed to a new city that Curling Canada has never been to. And I can't wait to see what they've got in store for us. I'm really delighted to announce that the 2025 Canadian Curling Pre-Trials will take place October 21st to the 25th at the Andrew H. McCain Arena in Wolfville. Will be hosted by Acadia University. It's right on the campus of Acadia University, and I suspect there will be an Acadia University party going on during those pre-trials. And to tell you more, I'd like to introduce Scott Duguay, the Vice President of Student Experience at Acadia University.
So good morning, everyone. Still morning. Thank you for joining us. Acadia University is absolutely thrilled to play a part in this exciting news. This event promises not only fierce competition, but also a substantial economic impact in our region. With national TV coverage on TSN, courtesy of Curling Canada, our picturesque town of Wolfville is set to be in the spotlight yet again after hosting a number of higher profile events, including a wonderfully executed CFL game that many of you probably were at amongst the 10,000 fans that descended on our campus just last year as we continue to build our reputation as a choice host for exciting events. This occasion holds historic significance for Acadia as it's our first major curling event hosted in our arena, so we will lean on those with expertise to learn the ropes here. We're looking forward to welcoming Canada's top curling athletes to our campus as they strive to earn a spot in the Winter Olympics. This event will be a testament for us to the power of collaboration. Our town of Wolfville, the very vibrant and passionate curling community of the Valley, the 100 volunteers that we will pull together, and our university community will contribute to its success. Our journey is made possible through the invaluable support for and from our official partners, Curling Nova Scotia, the town of Wolfville, I see Mayor Donovan here as well, and the Department of Communities, Culture, and Heritage. So in closing, this event will certainly leave a lasting legacies, plural, for our community, enhancing volunteer capacity, showcasing our local businesses, and improving infrastructure for future high-caliber events. So I thank you for your attention, and we look forward to welcoming you to Canadian Curling Pre-Trial, a celebration of sport, community, and the spirit of Acadia. Merci beaucoup.
So I'm assuming all of you know what the pre-trials are about, right? The pre-trials will decide the last teams, men and women, that go into the Canadian Curling Trials. And speaking of the Canadian Curling Trials, let's finish off the good news with this. The 2025 Canadian Curling Trials are coming back to Halifax. So get out your phones, lock down November 22nd to the 30th right here at the Scotiabank Centre on your phone calendars. And yes, opening day of the trials is 2 years from today, right out there. That's going to be really cool. And I know the guy that is our next speaker has already booked that time off. He's our former Curling Canada board chair, one of this country's most passionate curling volunteers, and a good friend, Mr. Hugh Avery.
Good morning, everybody. Bon matin, tout le monde. C'était une journée fantastique pour le sport de curling et pour la ville de Halifax et pour la province de Nouvelle-Écosse aussi. Thanks, Al, for the opening. Al alluded to the fact that I used to be the chair of Curling Canada, and I also got to represent Curling Canada at various meetings with the World Curling Federation. So you can imagine, I've had lots of experiences traveling throughout this great country and around the world representing Curling Canada. And never would have dreamed as a little boy growing up in Pictou County, watching curling with my mom and dad and grabbing the broom in the kitchen and sweeping, pretending I was one of those athletes, right? That I would have those opportunities. So But I often get asked, what is my most memorable experience in the sport of curling that I've had? And in fact, it has never been one of those world ventures, right? It actually happened in this facility. And I've told this story before, and so some people can attest. I'm not making it up for today. So back in 2010, I got to be the co-chair of the 2010 Brier. And on the last day, I was just taking it all in. You know, it'd been 2 years of work, and so I wanted to go down to the ice level. And if you've never gone to the ice level when nobody's in the arena, it's quite an experience. Really take it in if you get a chance. Buy a ticket, come and I'll let you in. I was just reflecting over the 2 years of work, and so one of the teams was out there, and they were practicing, as they do before the championship final, and one young man decided, like I saw him there, and he took his broom and he set it down on the carpet. And then he took his gloves off and he set those down on the carpet as well. And he started walking towards me, and I thought, well, I didn't want to just interrupt anybody. I'm probably talking to myself in my head, but I don't think I'm talking out loud. So he continued to walk over to me, and he extended his hand and said, thank you. And as a volunteer, and I'm a volunteer, if you see me play, I'm a volunteer. There's no stronger words, right? And so as that young man was working towards his dream, right, he just validated mine as a volunteer. And so in that spirit, I want to take this time to say thank you to some folks who really need to be thanked for this opportunity for a few of us to live our dream of hosting this event. So first and foremost, Mr. Premier, wherever you're standing, there you are. Thank you to you in the province for your leadership, your wisdom, and your support for this event. Honestly, your team have been completely amazing to work with. We recognize that there's going to be a financial contribution that these events will bring to our province, but just as importantly are the social benefits that these events will bring. So for example, it will create, these three communities will have a spirit, a sense of pride that's immeasurable, that will only translate into more positive things for those communities to come. But long after that last rock has been thrown, we will have more significant social benefits. For example, I guarantee you there will be more juniors, more seniors taking up the sport of curling and getting invested into just a more healthy life. And that's a great benefit for all of us in Nova Scotia. So thank you for your support for this event. Deputy Mayor Austin, thank you to you, Mayor Savage, and the rest of council for your support for this event. It has been tremendous. Again, your team, simply amazing throughout this process. I look forward to the next 2 years of work, and it will be work. One of the things I'm most looking forward to is actually showcasing this city. This is an amazing city full of culture and just beauty, and it can hardly wait to do that. So thank you for the opportunity to do that. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank HRM. 2 days ago, I get notice that in the spirit of greening government, they are allowing all of our volunteers to ride on Metro Transit for free. So thank you for that. I think that's a great endeavor as well. Fantastic. Two other groups I really want to thank. Discover Halifax, led by CEO and President Ross Jefferson. Thank you for your team. Your team has been a wonderful partner throughout this process. Also, Events East Group, Carrie Cousins, the President and CEO, I think there she is, wanted to thank you for the facilities. In order to do this sort of event, you need the facilities to do it, so thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity. Your team, again, has been just tremendous. Like, we could never have done this without the partnership with Events East, so thank you so much. Nova Scotia Curling Association, I'm wrapping up soon, Al, I promise. Thank you for your confidence in us to run these events throughout our province. Is our sincere hope that we can create a legacy that will allow you to deliver on your mandate for curling across the province for many years to come. And I really have to thank my host committee. I get to be the guy to come up here and talk, but there has been a tremendous group of people, and I really need to say thank you to them. And so hopefully I get them all right. And if I miss one, I apologize. Billy Comer, Billy's here somewhere, from HRM. Great contribution from Sports and Rec. Ken Bagnall from Canadian Sport Institute Atlantic. Ken, somewhere, your wisdom about sport has been fantastic on the committee. Stephen McDougall from Events Nova Scotia, thank you for your help with this. Virginia Jackson, Teresa Breen, we needed some curling talent on our board, obviously, because none of the guys on the committee have it. And so thank you for not only your wisdom, but just your dedication to sport. It's been fantastic. Chris Goss from Discover Halifax. Chris is here somewhere. There he is. He's the right man in the right job, and I don't have much more to say than that. It's been a pleasure, my friend. Colby Brenham from Events East as well. Colby is here as well. I didn't think he was coming, but he's here. Colby, it's been a pleasure. A gentleman who's not here today, Paul Forrest with Events Nova Scotia, has helped lead this through the past several months, and I hope Paul gets to see this from the bottom of my heart. It's been a privilege, right? So thanks to the entire team. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to go full circle, actually, and say thank you to the young man who extended his hand to me 14 years ago. So where is he? He knows the story because I've shared it with him before. Where's Nolan? Nolan. There he is, back there. There is Nolan Thiessen. So it's a young man who extended his hand to me 14 years ago and said thank you. And so to Nolan, to you and Curling Canada, I say thank you for allowing Nova Scotia to showcase such a wonderful sport, such a wonderful province. I know you're familiar with our hospitality out east, but I guarantee you all three committees, you will not find a harder working group of people out there. We will do you proud, we promise. And finally, from the bottom of my heart, I really would like, at the end of this, in 14 years, when somebody else has to take over this role, they get up and they tell you about a story about their most memorable experience. And it happened here at the Scotiabank Centre at the 2025 Canadian Curling Trials. And so I look forward to being a host in 2025, and thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
That man can speak very well. Boy, I wish I had his talent on the mic. Thank you, Hugh. I just want to take a moment and tell you that there were a lot of bids put in for these events, like a lot of significant bids from significant host committees and significant cities. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you for the interest from the entire Canadian curling community in these events. There's a reason that cities want to bid for these events. Our friends at Discover Halifax and Nova Scotia will tell you all about the economic impact that will come out of these three events. So I just do want to thank those other cities that submitted their names and tell them we've got lots of events. If you want to bid, we'll always listen to your bids. I also want to thank the arenas, the host arenas. One of the factors that hosting events such as this is that there's a primary tenant that will be asked to leave town, and that's not an easy thing. So I want to thank the Halifax Mooseheads here at Scotiabank Centre. I want to thank the Liverpool Privateers, and I want to thank the Acadia Axemen for surrendering their home ice to us. But that's not an easy thing to ask a primary tenant and a hockey team. So our deepest thanks to those three hockey teams. We are fortunate at Curling Canada that we have 14 member associations across this great country that share our vision and our goal to make the sport better for everyone. And Nova Scotia Curling Association has been a primary mover in that department, and it is in no small part due to their hard work that we are here today. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Rob Beliveau, the president of the Nova Scotia Curling Association.
Well, all the other speakers stole my speech, so I really have nothing to say. Anyone who knows me knows that's not true. Thanks. I do want to... Sorry, Mr. Premier, did you have something to say? Your turn is coming up. On behalf of Curling Nova Scotia Curling Association, welcome, and thank you so much. What a wicked turnout. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. First and foremost, do want to thank all of the host committees, the Liverpool Championship Society, Halifax, and Acadia, all three of which I know, echoing Al's comments, will pull off amazing events. And, what a great, awesome story that Nova Scotia is going to send off all of the curlers representing Canada to the 2026 Milano Caprino Olympics. We've talked a lot about curling hosts. There's going to be parties. We know that. And we know there's going to be great curling. But one of the things that I felt compelled to talk about today was a little bit more about the sport of curling and its direction. And my origin story started much in this rink and other rinks with hockey, and it wasn't curling. And it wasn't until later in life that I was tapped on the shoulder by a friend to say, why don't you come try curling? And I was like, oh, I've watched it on TV. I think I can do it. I don't know. And I tried. And the first time I slid out of that hack, I fell really bad. But, you know, I'm not one to give up, so I tried and tried again. And as I got into the sport, you know, I realized that the culture of the sport, the athleticism of the sport, the social activities were just simply put, they were fun. I mean, they're competitive, but they're fun, right? And, you know, I start to reflect on that, and as a Haligonian that I consider myself a little bit connected in this city, I didn't even know that that was an option for me. And, you know, so what does that say about other people that, you know, aren't open or confident enough to explore? So when I became in Nova Scotia Curling and wanted to be part of that organization, I committed to wanting being part of change and the spark for change. And I was definitely inspired by one of my first curling conferences in 2022 in Niagara Falls. Nolan and Al were there, probably wondering, what is this new young pup showing up on the scene? But the title of the event was Changing the Face of Curling. And I don't think it's ever more important than now to continue to think about that and talk about that. And during that event, various speakers spoke about different approaches that our clubs have with membership. And if you think of those two words together, don't necessarily reap the word inclusion. And it can be really intimidating. And, you know, so how do we change this? How do we educate ourselves? How do we ask for guidance? How do we feel comfortable asking for guidance to just do things differently, to attract different people to this sport? How does this all come full circle to today? You may be wondering. It's quite frankly, to me, the Olympic movement. And when we talk about the Olympic movement, we talk about the goal of the Olympic movement is to contribute to the building of a peaceful and better world by educating youth through sport practiced in accordance with Olympism and its values. Curling's going to do that in Nova Scotia in 2025. We're going to energize a whole new crowd of curlers that have never thought about trying curling, that have never known that there's that club down the road, that square box that is open normally from about September till April. And I don't know about you, but I know during the Olympics, I watch sports that I would never normally watch. Like, I just love it. We cheer for the athletes. We cheer for the families who support them. We cheer for Canada. And it really does inspire new athletes in all sports. After every credential, every sport sees this. I know Ken, we already mentioned him before. I'm hoping you can put your hand up and just validate that unverified statistic. People who never pictured themselves getting into it do. And you know, curling is very accessible. For those of us in it, we know you can play with a stick, you can play with a wheelchair. We have curling for folks that are visually impaired or physically impaired. We can accommodate so many ends of the spectrum in our world with curling. Let's use this as a catalyst to do that. We will have a free wedge into people's conversation about sport, and now we get to ask them if they've ever considered trying curling. So I'm putting out a call to action for all of you, for all curlers, clubs, facilities, organizers, fans. Let's start tapping people on the shoulder. Let's extend the rings of curling. Let's show them there's no secret handshake to getting into our wonderful sport, only handshakes to start and end the game. As president of Nova Scotia Curling, I wanted to steer the organization to not just talk about doing things better, but to actually take actions. We've talked about things a lot in organizations, but what are we doing about it? Nova Scotia Curling last year became one of the original signatories to a research project called Partners in Transforming Sport, and it's led by University of Waterloo PhD doctorate Heather Mayer, and it includes groups like the Black Rock Initiative. Andrew, thank you very much for being here, and also includes participation from WCF. I know there's a WCF person hiding there too. Curling Canada, Curling Alberta, and even our local Sydney Curling Club. But there's more to be done. And you know, back to that Olympic movement thing. As a requirement of Curling Canada for us to be able to get these events, they do ask us and ask the host groups to comment on legacy. What is going to be the legacy of this event? Diversity, and certainly in Indigenous involvement. And thank you to Thomas Christmas for doing the blessing today. And that was a prompt for me, and it really clicked. How can we make a meaningful impact before we even have these events? So we reached out to Mi'kmaq Kanatawadaway MK for short, who serves as a group that represents 12 out of 13 Mi'kmaq communities in Nova Scotia. I actually had to clarify that. Terry Bernard in the back, thank you. I called him. I had to put my confident self behind and say, I don't know how to say this, and thank you for saying it about 5 times to me, and I think I probably still didn't say it right. But I'm going to keep trying, Terry. As a collective voice for Mi'kmaq education, their mission is to actively promote excellence in Mi'kmaq education, interests and rights for their communities, and to facilitate a development of lifelong learning. So after listening, learning, meeting, and exploring, I'm also proud to announce the beginning of what will be legacy from these events that were catalyzed by these 3 talented groups making Nova Scotia curling want to be involved in this. And we have established a new partnership with our local Indigenous communities that will see Nova Scotia Curling help create and deliver a customized education program introducing curling to all Indigenous schools and community centers next year. While in its infant stages, after a demonstration of the Rocks and Rings program, a little shout out to Jill Brothers, our technical director and friend, there was overwhelming support from both organizations to turn this plan into reality next year. Aligning with the ramp up to our trials, and in year 2, we hope to move that to the ice, involving our 33 member clubs and associations, bringing those groups into our on-ice facilities to further explore curling. The rings can expand further. We work and remain committed to working with any and all groups to create a diverse, open, and safe environment for curling. Thank you again to all the host committees. We know you'll do a great job. Let's show Canada what the world we can do. For a new fan, as Greg would say, welcome to our house. For all the other fans that we know what the Halifax experience is all about, welcome home. Thank you. Just a little short video before I introduce our next guest.
To be an Olympian again? How do you even explain that?
Now I'm getting emotional.
Put it in the pits. They say that we can.
I want to thank our family for coming, our supporters, the whole city of Ottawa, whole country.
It's in my blood. It's in my blood. Oh, it's in my blood. Why does it feel like on the edge? Staring down a certain day. Why does it feel like the story ends?
It is now my absolute pleasure to welcome the Honorable Premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston, to the stage.
Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. I love the thing I love most about Rob is he puts everything he has into everything he does. So thank you for all your efforts on this, Rob, for sure. I also love the fact that he still refers to himself as a young pup. Because if he is, we are too, right? So thanks, everyone. What a pleasure to be here. The province is so thrilled to be hosting this in Nova Scotia and to support this. In fact, we have 3 cabinet ministers here today: Minister Maslin, Minister LeBlanc, and Minister Smith. We have enough for a quorum for cabinet here today. So get your lists ready. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just real thrilled to be here. I mean, what a privilege to be Premier of this province at this time in our history. So much good is happening in this province. We are growing in every area of this province where good things are happening. The vibrancy of this city is obvious to everyone, but of course down in the valley, our own Napa Valley of the East down there, what a beautiful time people are going to have there, and every part of this province is so breathtakingly beautiful. All of it surrounded by 13,000 kilometers of coastline, incredible beaches, hiking trails. We have a lot to offer, and I've never actually met anyone who said they went to Nova Scotia and that sucked. It's not going to happen. It's a beautiful province. We know how to host events, and this will be a spectacular success. I know it for sure, and I can't wait to be part of it. I have to confess, I've curled a couple times. I'm not a big curler yet, but there are a lot of similarities between curling and politics. There's a lot of similarities when I think about it, because both curlers and politicians do their best work in the House. Okay.
Again, I see you.
I've been working on that all week. My kids told me don't do it, but thank you for the kids were wrong. Thank you. Listen, congratulations to all the various House committees for sure, and to each of you, the volunteers that will make it happen. We will put Nova Scotia on the curling map in a very big way. You can't get to the Olympics unless you come through Nova Scotia. And that's incredible, right? So, yeah. That's a thrilling statement. So I thank you for all the efforts to bring us to this point, and we'll, as the government, will do our part to bring it to the button, I guess. But I'm done with those now. So I do have one more honor, though. I have the honor to introduce someone to you that will be known to each of you. Olympic gold medalist, Olympic bronze medalist, I think 5-time Brier champion, former world champion, and somebody who has participated in each of these 3 events along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor to introduce Brad Gushue. Welcome, Brad. Thank you.
Thanks to the Premier for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm super excited about the trials coming to Halifax in 2025. Have a little bit of history here for those of you that aren't aware, but I actually just found out that you guys had the mixed doubles trials and the pre-trials, so congratulations on that. I know Nova Scotia and Halifax are a great curling community. You guys support these events. And from a curler's perspective, we are thrilled to be coming back and hopeful that we can get more Atlantic Canadian teams, more Nova Scotian teams like a Christina Black and Owen Purcell. I'd like to say us. I know we're not from Nova Scotia, but we certainly try and represent the Atlantic provinces as best we can. And if we can qualify for it, I know it's going to be a thrill of a lifetime for me to come back after 20 years. If we get a chance, we're going to wear orange again. We'll leave that up to Nolan. Because I certainly remember 20 years ago in that event, as we started to win throughout the week, we started to see some people show up with orange shirts, and then my parents decided to go out and buy orange shirts. But then they started to sell out throughout the city, so people started to show up in orange garbage bags. So hopefully we can give lots of people notice and get those orange shirts bought out well in advance. But from my perspective, I am thrilled that it is coming back to Halifax. We played in the Brier here in 2003 and 2010, and obviously the trials in 2005. And you guys do such an incredible job, and I know you're going to do a great job in 2025. From all the curlers' perspectives, all the top curlers across the country, I think you're going to find that when we show up to play at the trials, that it's going to be the most intense, the most high-level curling that you're going to watch, even more so than the Olympics or World Championships, because every single top team across this country right now is gearing up towards this event. And everything we do today and tomorrow and the next day is to make sure that we're as good as we can be when we play that event in 2025. So when you come and watch and come and support or volunteer, you're going to see a lot of intensity. You're going to see a lot of heartbreak, and you're going to see some jubilation. And I've been fortunate enough to be on both sides of that, having lost the trials final in 2018 or 2017 in the mixed doubles side, and having won 2 trials finals. And it is literally both ends of the spectrum, and these events are winner take all. And when you go all week and you play so well and you come up just this much short, you walk away with nothing, where the winner walks away with just the experience of a lifetime. So to be able to watch that and be able to support that and be able to cheer it on and witness it in person, it's a special thing. And it's the most exciting event for us every 4 years to play. I don't know if I should say exciting. It's the most anxiety-ridden event. To be honest, it's a lot of fun when you win, but boy, oh boy, the stress of that week as a player is intense, and you're in for a great show. And I think we as curlers are in for a great show as well, because you guys do such a great job, and we're expecting the same as we get every time we come to Nova Scotia, whether it was in Pictou County a couple weeks ago, or Truro, or Liverpool, or Acadia. You guys put on a show, and we're looking forward to it. I want to thank you guys for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Nova Scotia Curling for putting in the effort, the province, the city, everybody involved in making this happen, Curling Canada. We're excited. Hopefully you are excited, and look forward to being part of it and playing here in 2025. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. As a former sports writer who covered a few of those trials, and I can tell you there are some of the best interviews we've done after a win, and some of the most agonizing interviews after a loss, and Brad just caught it all in a nutshell. There's a few people in this room who've participated in trials. Raise your hands, everybody who's participated in trials. Yep, there's a few here. Heather, you were at a trials. Go on, raise your hand. There you go. I saw you. We're going to wrap things up here. I'm just going to tell you a couple things that probably are on your minds. Volunteers and tickets, right? Those situations will be announced sometime during 2024. So we will get the word out there. The best way to get a sneak peek at what's coming up is to sign up on the Curling Canada Collective. It's a newsletter that we have. You can sign up at curling.ca. So those announcements will come out in 2024. I also want to acknowledge a few people that are in the room with us. Roselle Gonzalez. Roselle, please raise your hand. Roselle is a member of our Board of Governors, and what's really cool is she is a transplanted Haligonian. She just moved here from Halifax. So give her a big Halifax welcome, everyone. We all know a bunch of curlers in the room. Colleen, hello, Colleen. How are you? Is Kim here? I thought Kim Kelly was going to be here. Is Kim here? Raise your hand if you're at. No, well, no. Christina Black, your team is here, yes? Hi, Christina. How are you, gang? I think Team Manuel is here. Members of team. They're on their way to Charlevoix. That's correct. Let's see. Anybody else? Well, Heather Smith, of course, is here. Heather. And I want to introduce Nolan Thiessen. Nolan is our Executive Director of Marketing. And Nolan, as many of you should know, is a former champion right here in this building. Draw to the button right out there on sheet B in the 2010 Brier. Nolan, there he is right there. 2015 World Men's Bronze Medalist here as well. So Nolan now working for Curling Canada. So that's basically it, gang. How was that? Did you have fun? Yeah. So reminder, there are refreshments, there's food at the back wall. Media members, I know what you guys want. You want to do some scrums, right? We'll set those scrums up. Just let me know who you want to talk to, and we'll get that going. So thank you all again. Congratulations, Nova Scotia.